Hi, it's another episode of The Cosmic Tea, and it's me chatting to you because you are my friend and we're sipping on tea or coffee or matcha or whatever you want to sip on. So, thanks for being here. I haven't posted an episode like this in a while where it's just free-flowing thought, but they're my favorite because I feel like that's how we talk to friends, you know? It's free-flowing thought. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to fit into an outline. It doesn't have to hit on specific points. It's just freaking friends talking, exploring, humans relating, and that's my favorite thing ever. Thanks for being here. Follow me on Instagram if you don't, at XOCureGrace. What else? I don't know. Bye. I think one of the most important things to remember as your mind, your logical mind, your physical mind seeks answers all day, every day. I think that in the realm of spirituality, it's so important to remember no one knows everything. No one has it all figured out. No one has the ultimate answer that's finally going to quiet your mind and make it all feel okay. That's just not it. When we say it's all within you, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't use outside resources to help. I mean, that's a part of, remembering the other person is me. We're all one. We can assist one another on this journey with our knowledge, with our experiences. But notice how easily we're swayed by information that, maybe we've put someone on a pedestal and then they say something that feels a little, there's this tension and it really kind of triggers the inner critic, maybe. It happens a lot for me. Someone will say something outside of myself that for some reason my mind has said, oh, they have the answer. I don't have the answer. They have the answer. Say it. The rule, the goal, the purpose of being here, the definition of starseed, whatever it might be. My inner critic very quickly will be well, Kier, you're doing it wrong. What to address in that situation isn't anything necessarily external, but it's my response to the external. How did my mind react? And that's the indicator of what's resonant or not resonant with me. And, as we are inundated with so much information, oh fuck, I spilled my coffee. Oops. We're in the age of information where all truth becomes uncovered. All of the lies and manipulation of our world, all of these lower density behaviors in our government systems and whatever being uncovered. But we're also being so we're constantly taking in information. And even myself scrolling online, it's oh my God, it's just person after person after person talking at me. Do you feel that way too? I just feel I'm being talked at. It's always something this is what you need to do to da-da-da, or this is what's wrong here. This is the way to do this. This is the meaning of this. I saw a video the other day. It was there are 3 aspects of the divine feminine, and it's labeling all of these and I'm just holy fuck, we are really struggling here, aren't we? Just as humans with the mind, this intense desire to just label and categorize everything. Now, to look at that, okay, that's just a mechanism of my mind. And what is the purpose of the mechanism? To ground me, keep me somewhat oriented, right, in this physical reality. We do need the ego. We do need the physical mind to be in physical reality. It's a tool to create, But my God, it's overstimulated and overrun, and it's like taken over. I mean, our collective ego has completely taken over. That's why we see, we look around us and we're like, well, this makes very little sense to us sensitive beings who are more aware of this heart space. We live in a world that has been overrun by the ego, the logical mind, by fear, control, and whatnot. So on the spiritual journey, when you're reading all the books and you're pulling cards every morning and you're listening to the astrology report every day to figure out what is happening in my life, is that your inner being seeking? And this is just a question. I don't have the answer. I don't want to be talking at you. I don't want to be pointing my finger and saying this. This is just me exploring deeper and from my awareness and my personal experience and work, right? So it's like, is my inner being really the part of me grasping for information and labels and every tool under the sun to what? What's the goal again? Oh, ascend? Is that the goal? What, to feel happy all the time? Is that the goal? To just vibrate high all the time? Is that the goal? To vibrate into a new dimension and leave everyone behind? Like, what? None of it makes sense. None of these labels and pathways, and it just sounds like a mindfuck game that we've created for ourselves to cultivate some feeling of safety in a world that is an illusion, that doesn't make sense. And I don't mean not to be of the world. Explore the world, create within the world, play with the energetics of manifestation, loosen up around it, Can it be fun? Is it allowed to be fun? It's just like crazy. And I was on the internet. No shit, I was on the internet. I was scrolling on Instagram the other day, and I think I guess on Facebook. I was on Facebook. I guess I follow Phil Goodlife on Facebook. I'm not like a regular follower. I think it's just another person with some interesting things to say, some annoying things to say. Like, I don't care, same as me, right? Sometimes I'm interesting, sometimes I'm really fucking annoying. Aren't we all? He said something like, I'm starting to realize that no one knows what's going on, including me. And I'm like, well, yeah. To me, I'm just like, no shit. And I don't say that to be mean. Like, I enjoy his presence. I think he is a good example. He's just like exploring. One thing that threw me off a while ago is he said something about how he was like enlightened. And I was like, okay, like that's a fun game to play with yourself, I guess. I think he kind of snapped out of that like holier than thou, I'm enlightened type archetype that people enjoy embodying for some period of time, and I don't know. But the point is, I would love for this little itty bitty of an episode to just kind of like ping some sort of relief, some sort of permission within you to not know, to not do it right. Because there's not a right way to do it, not in this reality. And inherently you're a good person. Inherently you're a heart-centered being, and there's no getting around that, And I think there's this fear for us sometimes. It's like, oh my God, am I bad? Because we see the bad in the world. We see the suffering. We see evil. I mean, that is a reality that we see manifested, through duality, through the separation from God, source. And don't be afraid, because you're not. You're here now. Like you're awake. You're good. Now you get to play. How about that? I did a quantum inner child session with myself the other night. I do like one deep dive a week with myself. I do Kundalini and then just kind of journal through my quantum inner child processing. And I do some tapping, kind of combine it all. I've just recently started sharing that like combination with clients and classes. But regardless, one of the things that came up for me was there's this part in it where I bring in a representation of God, right? So the higher self or my present self talking to the inner child in this very specific like time and space that I bring into the forefront, right? That matches the emotional energy of my current state, blah, blah, blah. Go into the Quantum Inner Child episode if you want to learn more about that, somewhere around here. Anyway, this higher self, and it really felt like representing, like it put a face to God, because God is just a frequency, but in this density, it's like our minds, again, we need to label it, right? And it was just, she said, you are accepted. You are acceptable. I don't know, imagine this concept of God, whatever it is, looks you in the eyes and says, I accept you as you are. Period. Would anyone else's opinions, would any of these external rules, would any of the internalized shame and guilt and fear that you're not doing it right, could that exist in the frequency of God saying to you, I accept you, period, here and now? So I'm like, oh, that's a biggie. Because I find a lot of my like external triggers and the shame and the guilt, it's this fear of like, I'm doing this wrong. I'm not accepted. I'm not accepted by any group in the spiritual community. I'm accepted by individuals, but again, like the internalization of that meaning anything is kind of where I dig into. Yes, there's this part of our biology that needs acceptance for survival. But as we grow in consciousness, we realize, okay, there is this way to kind of look in and not need that acceptance for survival anymore. But again, it's that bridging between physiology and then the metaphysics. And I am not a scientist, not a genius, so whatever. But like, that's kind of where we bring in the nervous system work, right? And how you can't override a dysregulated nervous system with mindset work. All kind of links in. But at the end of the day, how does it feel to know that you, listening to this right here, right now, you are deeply accepted as you are by the highest frequency available in the universe? Can you imagine that? Does it soften any desire to seek and grasp and perfect? And sometimes when I say this, someone will be like, well, it's good to improve your life. Well, yeah, of course. If you're, I don't know, like drinking wine every night, yeah, maybe don't. Maybe it would be better for your body to drink water instead or something, or like cut back. Like, I'm not talking about that. So, God, the universe, source, the highest frequency available in this moment right now as you are, accepts you. And this life isn't about getting acceptance from other people. It's realizing that the external experience of not being accepted is a reflection of some part of you that has yet to accept yourself. And that is the that is a deep journey. And in a world of information and rules and like labels, oh my God, the labels. I believe that is freedom. And we're here for freedom. We are here for freedom. Freedom from our own, the prison of our mind, the weight of the ego. And I don't mean kill the ego. It's just a mechanism, right? How do we label the ego? Evil, bad, it must die. Like, just notice the labels and the compartmentalization. It's just an exploration I offer you. And whoever you are, wherever you are, I pray that all beings experience freedom, because God accepts you.